It started at 39 when I had my first major exit from a company. All of a sudden, I realized issues stemming back to my childhood. That a number of things that happened during my childhood had a lasting effect on how I viewed money, my ability to earn it, and my ability to keep it. When I was growing up, both of my parents were, my dad was a pilot, my mom was a flight attendant for the same airline. If you knew what went on in airline industry in the 80s, there was a ton of consolidations and bankruptcies. My parents went through the bankruptcy of Eastern Airlines. I think I was 8 years old going with my parents to the airport to walk on a picket line. You can imagine what that must have been like for them, both losing their jobs and their income at the exact same time, both having to choose to join the pilot and flight attendant unions and walk out. And here we had a great life, and everything was in jeopardy and in question. Despite the fact that they worked really hard to insulate me and to protect me, I felt all of it. I knew that I was going to have to leave behind the only home I had ever known, the only friends I had ever known, the only schools I had ever known. I knew that all of that was really gone. It was outside of their control in entirety, completely outside both their controls. We had hard years, but we were fine. You know, by all measures of the world, like, we're still living a wonderful life. And every single day, everything we wanted to do was a question: do we have enough money to do it? Can we afford to do this? Can we afford to be eating this? I developed some trauma around it, some ingrained patterns. And traumas are normal. They're not always bad. They're just ingrained patterns because of our external environment. They're not choices. We don't choose our traumas choose us. And I've learned from that. Well, number one, I was very intentional about choosing a career and a life for myself where I was in control of what happened to me. It turned out that I wasn't. See, life and circumstances and chance and black swans all can rear their ugly heads. And no matter how much you think you're an entrepreneur, I own my own business or whatever, yeah, but it can all disappear in a heartbeat. I had my first business. I lost everything inside of the business in a lawsuit. And so that's where it started to reinforce some of these patterns, some of these fears that I had. I had been blessed with an extraordinary amount of money, more than I had ever necessarily even planned on in my life. Now I was afraid because now I had a lot to lose. Now, for the first time, because my pattern was anything and everything can be taken away from you at any point inside of your life. So now all of a sudden we have a new lifestyle and I have a lot to lose. What I actually saw was now myself in the role of my father, myself now with 5 kids, and thinking about what it was going to be like for us when I lose everything that I've been blessed with, for me to have to put my children through that same cycle. Having financial wealth, that's a better thing because real wealth is intrinsic and not extrinsic. But having financial wealth didn't really mean anything to me. What really mattered and what was important and what gave me freedom is actually cash flow.
Hey, Lai. Oh, hey, girls. What's going on back there? You know, just riding a camel.
Knowing that there's money coming in, and knowing that I have multiple levels of cash flow and protection around them actually ends up, because of my personal traumas that I'm still working through, ends up being more valuable to me, and it ends up creating more freedom for me. A growth investment versus a cash flow investment are two totally different things. Some people invest a chunk of money in a hope that someday it's appreciated many times over. That didn't help me whatsoever. It actually made me feel like I was losing money. What does work for me and what makes me feel really good are investments where I get a check regularly from them. We all have relationship issues with money. Our relationship with money has a major impact on how we relate to our families, on how we make decisions, on what freedom means to us, how we achieve it, what careers we choose. It's amazing to see now as I look back, this massive energy that's been in my life that I didn't even know was there.